Today on The Big Story, Singtel and Grab are making a bid for digital full bank license together. What does this mean for consumers? Take note that next time you hire SporeJohor carpool service, unlicensed vehicles cannot provide a cross-border service. We're one day away from the new year. We show you some of the places where you can usher in 2020. It's a brand new week and the last Monday of 2019. I'm Haryanto Diman coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. You're watching The Big Story, where I'll have my newsroom colleagues to join me to discuss the hottest topics of the day and explain why it matters. Singtel and Grab are applying for a digital full bank license together, deepening their venture into the financial sector. A digital full bank license will allow both companies to serve retail customers, including taking deposits and lend money to companies. The joint venture will see ride-hailing firm Grab hold a 60% stake, while the Republic's largest telco will hold the remaining 40%. Both companies said the digital bank will aim to cater to the needs of digital-first customers and offer relevant products and services to consumers and enterprises. The Monetary Authority of Singapore announced in June that it will issue up to 5 new digital bank licenses to players who may not have an established record in banking. Singtel and Grab will know if their application has been approved by mid-next year. To discuss more on this joint venture, we have journalist Cheng Wei. Welcome, Cheng Wei.
Thank you, Haryan.
Cheng Wei, first up, if you could briefly explain to us, what is a digital full bank license?
Well, a digital full bank license issued by the MAS will actually allow Grab and Singtel, if approved, to basically take deposits from retail customers. They can also lend money to companies.
Okay.
Basically, we should think of them trying to be like the banks that we are familiar with, DBS, OCBC and UOB. The only difference here is that they will not actually have a physical place of business.
Okay.
So unlike the 3 local banks that have branches, this one will purely be a virtual bank.
Right, so it runs digitally online platform in that sense?
Yes, that's correct.
So with this joint venture, Cheng Wei, help us to understand how can it benefit consumers?
So there'll be more options for them for retail customers to decide where they want to put their money. We have heard that digital-only banks tend to offer better interest rates because of their lower operating costs.
Right.
Since they don't have to have physical places of business, they can perhaps offer customers even better interest rates. They are also supposed to provide more customizable and also more palatable options for customers. An example would be, say, there are certain British digital-only banks that allow their customers to split bills on their mobile phone right after they pay for an item. So that is something that perhaps more innovative ways of Grab and Singtel, if they get a license, for them to consider attracting customers.
Right. And Cheng Wei, of course, that being said, beneficial to the consumers, how then does it also benefit this joint venture to the two companies? Because earlier on, we had this little chat where you said that this joint venture could possibly also help in their financial position. Could you explain more on that?
So I think both Grab and Singtel, they are looking to new businesses to grow basically their profits. So for Grab, it's more popular for its ride-hailing and also its delivery services in Singapore. For it to be able to turn a bigger profit or better profit, or even make its way to profitability, it needs to look at the financial service sector, which in Singapore has been growing. As for Singtel, I think that its telco business has been hit with disruption and such. So it's also looking to grow in the financial services sector. So both companies actually have e-wallets already. So Grab has GrabPay and Singtel has Singtel Dash. So GrabPay and both are pretty popular in Singapore. So I think for them to venture into this deeper together, they are aiming to perhaps grow new lines of businesses that can help them.
Right. Definitely a very exciting times ahead in terms of the financial industry, right?
Yes.
Of course, it still remains to be seen as to whether the application will be approved. That will come mid next year. right, in mid-2020. Well, thank you so much, Cheng Wei, for coming onto the show to explain to us a bit more about the joint venture. Now, to read more on this, you can head on to our website, straitstimes.com. Moving on, foreign registered vehicles are not allowed to provide cross-border passenger transport services for hire or reward in Singapore without a valid public service vehicle license, said the Land Transport Authority. The LTA clarified the regulation in response to queries from the Straits Times on Same Ride, a carpool service due to launch a Singapore-Johor Bahru carpooling service from today. According to SamRide website, more than 300 commuters have pre-registered for the service in the app over the last 2 weeks. SamRide estimates that users will be able to significantly reduce the cost of their commute between Johor and Singapore by up to 50% compared to taxi services. The LTA takes a serious view towards foreign registered vehicles illegally providing hire and reward services and will carry out strong enforcement action against such illegal activities. To share more on this, we have journalist Malavika Menon. Welcome, Mala. Now, Mala, why is LTA strict with such activities, and what will happen to those caught without a valid license?
So LTA's rationale for actually enforcing this regulation is because many of these foreign registered vehicles sometimes do not have sufficient insurance against third-party liabilities.
Right.
So in this case, if commuters were to take up a journey with these foreign registered vehicles, they may not be able to claim their insurance in case they meet with a road traffic accident. So this is definitely the main reason that LTA is enforcing this action. Like you mentioned, yes, they do take a very serious view against this.
Yeah.
So in case a driver is caught with an unlicensed vehicle, they could face up to 6 months in jail as well as a $3,000 fine.
Yeah.
So LTA has said that it will take enforcement action if this continues.
And of course, advise the public as well not to engage in such services as well, right?
Yes, yeah.
Now, Mala, you've spoken to commuters as well who have used Singapore-Malaysia carpool services. What are their take on it?
So many of the commuters we spoke to were ones who were either living in Malaysia and Singapore, had family on the other side of the border, and had been traveling to and fro about 25 years even. So for them, the service is actually very convenient and affordable. So because it's a door-to-door service, they think that it cuts short their travel time, and they get to leave their homes a little bit later than if they were to take public transport.
Right.
So this is some of the reasons they say. Other reasons include for environmental friendly commuters, they definitely say it reduces their carbon footprint.
Yeah.
And also it reduces the time they spend queuing at the checkpoints, which could go to even 1.5 hours sometimes. So yeah, convenience is key, I think, to the commuters.
And of course, when you put it all together, then there's the affordability as well. So everything kind of like adds up.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, Malala, now let's focus on, is there any way for commuters, say, to check if the services that they've engaged have a valid license, for example?
So we did ask the LTA about this because as far as we know, there are quite a few carpool services on Facebook, on Telegram and things like that. So according to them, the only service right now that does cross-border carpool and is valid and licensed is the one by a yellow taxi company. It's called the Singapore-Johor Taxi Association Operators, and they engage out of Bansan Street in Singapore. It's a taxi kiosk there. So for per head, the commuters might be paying about $12, and they can share a cab with the other commuters and travel to and fro across the border, and this is legal, so this is probably the commuter's best option.
Right. So at the end of the day, it's really just being careful, right, with these carpool services. And I suppose you can check with LTA as well as to whether these services are legal or not.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, Mala, for coming onto the show to tell us more about this. Now, to read more on this issue, you can check out on our website, straitstimes.com. And now let's move on to What's Trending, where Kim will share with us what's buzzing in the Internetverse. Over to you, Kim.
Thanks, Haryanto. It's time for What's Trending. Early celebrations ahead of the new year were tragically cut short on Sunday when a car crash at Lucky Plaza killed 2 women and injured 4 others. The car crashed through a railing and plunged several meters before landing on the exit lane of Lucky Plaza's car park, hitting people in the process. The 64-year-old male driver was arrested at the scene for dangerous driving causing death. The Straits Times understands that the suspect is a driver for Grab, though he was not on a job during the accident. He has since been suspended on Grab's platforms. In another car accident, a heroic turn as a 72-year-old man pulled his wife, a wheelchair user, out of a burning car. A motorcycle in the opposite lane had lost control and flew over the road divider towards Mr. Tan Cheng Watt's car, and while on fire, it slid under the car, causing the fire to spread. With no time to panic, Mr. Tan got out and ran across to pull his wife out, dragging her up the footpath with the help of a few passers-by. Whew! Good job to Mr. Tan and the passers-by who offered their aid in the face of danger. And finally, the world's most beautiful faces. You may have your vote, but TC Candler has already decided the world's top male and female lookers of 2019. And topping the lists are Taiwan-born singer Tzuyu of K-pop girl group Twice and South Korean boy band BTS singer Jungkook. In the female list, Tzuyu is followed by Israeli model Yeo Shalbia in number 2 and Lisa of Blackpink in number 3. Amongst the men's list is also Felix Schellberg, better known as PewDiePie, in number 2, beating Shawn Mendes in 3rd place. Do you agree with the list? Let us know your thoughts. And that's all we have for What's Trending today. If you've seen a story you want to share, link it in the comment section below. Back to you, Haryanto.
Wow, thanks Kim. I wouldn't know as well who would make it into my list of most beautiful face. Now this year is coming to a close in 2 days. Now fret not if you haven't had anything planned to usher in 2020. Gather your friends and loved ones and head down to Marina Bay to enjoy the many countdown festivities or to simply catch the New Year fireworks. The 15th edition of Singapore's biggest countdown event, the Marina Bay Singapore Countdown 2020, will feature, among others, a 90-minute musical from Japan and a circus performance at Bayfront Event Space. Those not keen to watch the circus can indulge in carnival games and rides and check out 50 food and retail stores located in the same area. Over at the lawn at Marina Bay, an array of activities such as bouncy castles, arts and crafts booths, roving performances and magic shows will be available tomorrow to the public from 5 p.m. Members of the public to take note of road closures, and security personnel may also conduct checks on their bags and personal items. To tell us more about the festivities, we have entertainment and nightlife journalist Anjali Raghuraman as well as journalist Clara Chong. Welcome, ladies.
Hey.
Now, Anjali, I understand you've listed down your 10 picks to ring in 2020. If you could share with us 2 of your top picks.
Right, so there are plenty of parties, but if you're spoiled for choice, I would suggest Marquee Singapore. It's the first year that they're holding a New Year's Eve party, and this year they have Dutch DJ duo W&W headlining.
Right.
And it's going to be massive. I mean, have you been to Marquee yet?
I haven't actually.
Okay, it's an adult playground.
Yeah?
It's like got
Okay,
the
I'll check it out.
Ferris
I'll check it out. Yeah.
it's all sorts of things, Ferris wheel, slides. But I hear on the night they're going to be giving out champagne or like prosecco, something of that sort,
Okay.
just before midnight. So the whole club is going to be counting down together. And and it's, if anything, it's a good chance to check out the club.
Yeah, it is. So that's one, Marquee.
Yes.
What about the second one?
The other one is Atlas at Parkview Square.
The Gotham building.
Yes, exactly. So it's beautifully Art Deco inspired, 1920s inspired, and what better way to enter the new 20s than at Atlas? It's going to be champagne, cocktails, canapes. It's very bougie. Yes.
Wow. And what about in terms of admission? How much are they for these places?
Right. So Marquee, there's still some tickets online via www.marqueesingapore.com. Starts at $118, or at the door it's going to be $128. It's a bit much, but you know, it's
for the fun of it, right? Yeah, to ring.
Where else are you gonna? I mean, it's gonna cost that much. Pretty much anyway.
Anywhere else as well. Now, Clara, if you could tell us more about what's happening at the Marina Bay, because there is going to be a musical from Japan as well as circus performance by Uncle Ringo.
The circus performance
performance has been going on for quite a while already, and they have another 3 shows that are slated on New Year's Eve at 4 p.m, 7:30, and 10 p.m. So basically you have like acrobats, aerialists, and even like Daredevil, those like on motorcycles going around. So it's more like family orientated. But you've got to pay at least the prices range from $100 onwards to $150. And also that's one of the ticketed events. Outside the circus area, there's food and other festivities, and that one is completely all free. Definitely if you want to head down, that's one of the good choices.
So that's a good balance. So Anjali has shared with us, if you're the party goer, then there is Mikey and Atlas, and then Clara, if you're more of a family oriented kind of party that you're looking out for, more child friendly, to bring the kids there, you have it. Uncle Ringo, as well as the musical from Japan. Now ladies, of course, one thing that we all look forward to during the New Year countdown is the fireworks. Tell us, where are the top picks for fireworks?
Okay,
Anjali.
For me personally, it has to be C'est La Vie. 57 floors up in MBS. It's unrestricted views. It's pretty spectacular, and it's fabulous. I highly recommend it.
So have you seen?
2 years ago it was.
So from personal experience, Okay, Clara, what about you?
So basically I've been asking around and getting some views from like photographers as well. And I've heard that the Marina Bay Event Square is like one of the best places to watch. And even in that area, there are also lots of events going on. There's like a pets carnival, so you can bring in your pets, like your dogs, cats, rabbits, even all kinds of pets. And then they're like, I asked them, and then they like, you can bring in like hamsters as well. And then there will be like games, activities for the pets, and then the owners can all join in. So it's all like very much fun. That one's like free.
Exciting indeed. So these are some of the places you'll definitely recommend for the top picks for fireworks. Well, thank you so much, Anjali and Clara, for coming onto the show to share a bit more about the festivities that's going to be happening to ring in the new year 2020. Very exciting times ahead indeed. Thank you. Now, for more information on the countdown festivities, you can go to www.marinabaycountdown.sg. Now, on that note, we are compiling together photos of your first meal of 2020. Now, share your first meal of the year with us. Here's what you have to do. First up, take a photo of your very first meal of the year, or even decade because it's 2020. Post it on Instagram on January 1st. Follow Straits Times Food and Straits Times. Now in your post, tag Straits Times Food and use the hashtags First Meal 2020 and Straits Times Food. Now we will compile your photos at str.sg/firstmeal2020. Now let us know what dish you're drooling over on New Year's Day. Now there we have it, our top stories for today. For more news and videos, log on to our website, straitstimes.com. Now this is the big story for this year, 2019. We will take a break tomorrow and we'll see you back on Thursday. Till then, I'm Haryanto Diman. Have a good new year ahead and to an even better 2020.